Good greetings, everyone. And here we are again, uh, one more time, and doing the weekly WeAwake uh, meeting. And I've heard from you recently who appreciate this and use it as a time to meditate, to pray, etc. And I was talking to some Latin American brothers yesterday, and they were talking about WeAwake and being used in Latin America. And one of the things they said in Latin America, they don't really respond very well to the Buddhist idea of emptiness. It's not quite the cultural, historic thing that goes on there. So I said, well, how about this, which I've talked about before, that meditation is preparation for interior prayer. So when you can slow down the mind and all the chatter and all the stuff, then you can experience the presence of God if requested. Don't forget to request it. But why don't we use this as kind of a 21st century centering meditation and say we're going to do a centering prayer, and you can be a devout deist or from any religion, or you can be an agnostic, like, I don't know, is an honorable place to be, or just, I don't believe all that religious crap. Okay, so that's okay too. And just asking you to focus on your heart, say, Lord, however you say that, help me to experience your presence in these next 20 minutes, and slow the mind down. And if thoughts come, just say thank you, and just bring it attention back to your heart. And if you're an agnostic, you can just say, well, whatever, I'm not sure, if there's something there, please help me to do this right. And if you're just a devout atheist, that's about atheist, I like that. You can just say, well, I don't believe in you, but if you were there, help me out. Okay, so you got those three choices. It's all right. Without further ado, oh yeah, this is PMP 3.0. It's one of our major programs. We just, it's good for everything. I think it has 17 tracks, and this is the 9th track. It's tier 3, level 3. And these progressively get heavier from 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, etc. And 3, 3 is pretty powerful. So this takes us out into deep delta, which is a great place for interior stillness and openness. Well, welcome back. That was delicious. Thank you, universe, for that. And a couple of things. I don't. Lou reminded me I don't have much time. I have a meeting I got to get to after this, so I will try to be brief. But there's a couple of things, or triple things, I'd like to share. First of all, I was thinking of Andrew Harvey recently, and maybe I'm getting some emails about workshops he's putting on. But years ago, I did a workshop with him somewhere back east in New York State, I think it was. And there was only about maybe 10 of us and Andrew. So it was very intimate setting, and I got a lot out of it. And Andrew he's English or Brit, I think it's more popular to say these days. And he was educated, I think, in Oxford, or one of the great traditional universities in merry old England. And he is also a mystic. And he's also gay and bloody brilliant. And by uh, mystic, I mean somebody who experiences the presence of God as not as a dogma, as a thought, as an idea, but as a lived experience. And when we talk about contemplative path, which is what we talk about a lot on Deep Transformation podcasts, what does contemplative mean? Does it just mean thinking about God? No, it means experiencing, emptying yourself. And whether that's a Buddhist emptiness and Buddha nature, or whatever path you're on, how that comes to you, because all of these experiences of enlightenment are valid, according to our friend A.H. Almas Hamid, the director of the Diamond Path. So anyway, all that to say this, and Andrew gave this list of why things are screwed up, right? The meta crisis we talk a lot about on the website. Why it's unbelievable. It'll drive you to despair. But he says the good thing, there's one thing that's very positive. And he says, listen closely. He says, God has an agenda. We are not alone. And as we've said recently here, the universe is friendly. Really? Why do you know that? Well, my practice informs that. I experience that. I don't have to get into it all, but that's partially why we practice, to get in touch with the deepest part of us that has always been there and will always be there. That sometimes we, in our incarnation, in our being a human in a body, we forget. And when how to survive, do you love your family? That's good. Or you pursue happiness or sex or exciting thing, all these ways. But ultimately, we have to come back to who and what we are. And I think that's really good to remember in these times, that God has an agenda. And part of the idea of spiritual practice is to align ourselves and, find what little place that we have to, I mean, 17th fiddle in the orchestra, whatever it is, or you hit the ding, every 3 minutes or something like that. If that's your path, find it, because that will put you in connection with that. And yesterday, in the Deep Transformation podcast, and Vanessa and Heidi work with me on that with Roger Walsh. We interviewed Daniel Schmachtenberger, who he's all over the YouTube. He's big. He's got this huge generalist knowledge of things, and is able to connect the dots as a good intricalist. He's amazing. He's really extraordinary man. But in preparation for that, I found something he wrote, things that I learned from my dad. And it just deeply touched me. And I found it on the Consilience podcast. And it's a Consilience website where I found his blog. But this is what he said. And this is what his father taught him. One of the things, a couple of things. First of all, he said, the highest duty of a man, I'm talking about a masculine man, is to, number one, serve women, number two, serve the earth, and number three, serve children, the generations to come. So that's what we're here to do, guys. And I think you can call that the new chivalry. Men need a mission. Men need a reason to walk the path and walk well and live a life of nobility and courage and service. It's okay. It's okay to be that way. And that's what we're here to do, to serve women, to serve the earth, our Mother Earth, and all its creatures, and serve children and the generations to come, which children are the generations to come. And another thing he said, and this is really important, and I say this because it's really been on my heart and mind. Many of us grow up these days without fathers, boys without fathers, and they have nobody, or if they have a father, maybe he's not a very good father. And the men, even more than women, I think women, it's more in your bodies. It's easier for you to get than us guys. We need to be initiated into manhood and what I just described, serving women and the earth and children. But he said, and this is beautiful, it's do not pursue sex. Wait to be invited. Now, wouldn't that clear up a lot of issues? I think that's just beautiful. And that's honoring the divine feminine in every woman, wait to be invited. So get on with serving and protecting the earth and children, and the women will sense they're a noble man, and you will be loved. So don't pursue it. Just wait. I think that's pretty good. So I think that's it for today. And keep practicing, keep aligning yourself with this friendly universe, even though on the outside it looks like, my God, we're in difficult times. Okay. We're killing each other still in these huge wars in Ukraine and other places. And we've got looming weather disasters coming. California's getting, for 10 years it had getting rain, and they're getting it all back in a couple of weeks. It's just, we live in interesting times. So it's inherent on us to do all we can to wake up and be present and be a force for the noble aims of the friendly universe, and let our work be in perfecting this world for everyone and all creatures. So again, I've said enough. God bless you. Thanks.